and welcome to our very first episode of Create Conversate, a new show where we sit down with your favorite YouTubers, TikTokers, influencers, and more to get to know the creator beyond the screens and numbers. I'm your host, Catherine Tinsley, and today I'm super excited to introduce TikTok celebrity, part-time beauty guru, keyboard enthusiast, comedian, and my best friend, Nicole Ciravolo. How are you?
Oh my God, Kat, I'm so good. I'm so good. I feel so proud of you right now.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited to talk to you about content and everything else, and your cat and everything. So you ready to get started?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, fabulous. So right now you have over 2 million followers on TikTok. You have the Miss Connie shop. You're an alum of Second City. I mean, I could really go on and on about all the things you've accomplished, especially in the last year and a half. How does that feel?
It feels crazy. It feels like, I feel like it would be overwhelming if there wasn't like a pandemic happening, but because of the pandemic, it feels like the only thing that's going on. You know what I mean? I feel like making content, making videos, and just kind of focusing on that is kind of how I spend like a good portion of my days now, which feels really good just to feel like I have a space where I can create, and it's just like I can put whatever I want up, and my followers will like it, they'll vibe with it, maybe it'll like reach other people as well, but it just feels really creatively like freeing to just have a space to just constantly be creating anything that I feel the need to.
And with you having your largest following on TikTok, what gravitated you to the app? I remember it being like y'all doing dances in our dorm room, and then I'm like, wait, she's like a celebrity on here. So what was that shift?
Oh my God, that was before I even had TikTok, really. I remember when Kaylin and Zay and Caleb would do like the dances, and you and me would be like, we don't know how to do this. we don't know how to do this. It's weird. It was definitely like one of those things where I think a lot of people like in our age group that like grew up with Vine and stuff like didn't really feel the need to download it, and then it kind of was getting bigger and bigger, so it kind of became this like, okay, like I'll download it just to see what's going on. And then, just having the space to just be able to upload jokes and videos and whatever. And just like the only people that followed me were like my friends. And I was just like, the stakes are so low. It's okay for me to fail here. It's okay for me to mess up here. Just kind of led to me just creating more and more content, which eventually led to creating Ms. Connie, which then led to just like insanity.
And with Miss Connie, I mean, I think one of the things that's really great about seeing your content is that it's authentic to you as a person. Like, if you know Nicole, I'm like, this is on brand for you as a person. But how did you create this kind of character that has now kind of blown up?
Yeah, so you know that I went to like a Christian school for like 13 years. I was very much the vibe. I got detentions for dress code. I got told that like my skirt was too short. I got, some flack for being very openly feminist and openly liberal and openly bi. Like there was a lot of like moments where I felt like they didn't want to be openly necessarily like very against me, but I definitely received like different forms of like punishment for things that I did. And one of them was being sent to the principal's office for my skirt being too short. And we had uniforms that we had to pay for, and they were expensive. And I had the same uniform skirts in my freshman year as I did my senior year, but I became a woman. I filled out. My body became less. I'm a 15-year-old that's like really skinny, and more like, I'm 18 and my body's filling out. And so though my skirt never changed length, my body changed, and then it became an issue. And I just remember being sent to office after office and just having like not only male teachers and like male administrators, but also like the women in the office and the office ladies and like female teachers also tell me like, you're asking for this, you're distracting the boys in the class, like it's too short, it looks slutty. And just feeling like I really didn't have anybody on my side, and feeling like that sucked. And I wanted to kind of create a character that, wish fulfillment fantasy type character of like, wow, if I'd had this type of woman in the office when I was going through that, or when I was going through many other things, or even just other girls that I went to high school with going through things and feeling like they didn't have anybody on their side, was so terrible. And so I kind of wanted to create this character that just fixed all that and was just like the one person that was on your side out of like an entire sea of how terrible high school is. You know what I mean? And so the first video I made with Miss Connie was, you know, you getting sent to the principal's office for your skirt being too short. And she immediately calls your male teacher and is like, she's had the same skirt for forever. It's a super hot day out. She should be allowed to wear a skirt. She should be allowed to wear a tank top. And like immediately without question takes your side, which is something that I think every 16-year-old just wants so desperately, because you feel like it's you against the world.
Literally. And what was that moment when you realized that like this character has kind of taken a life of its own?
I mean, the first video, I had never experienced something going viral, you know, like it's such a, you know, you hear about it, but like it was just so insane how it took off. And I just remember being at dinner, like with my family, and like opening it and being like, this has 1 million views. This has 3 million views. Like it was just so insane. And it was just so fast. And it was just a sea of comments of like wanting more. And like even now, like I create a Miss Connie video like every week or so, but even when I don't make Miss Connie content, I get comments that are like, oh my god, like when can we see the next Miss Connie video, or like I would love to see a Miss Connie video doing this, or like oh my god, I didn't even recognize you without like the signature coat and like glasses.
And with you obviously being Nicole and having your own list of talents, being a comedian, being a writer, being a film enthusiast, and then having this character, do you feel like your audience struggles to separate Nicole from the character of Miss Connie?
I think maybe a little bit. I do really like get a lot of comments that are like, I didn't even recognize you. I don't even think I have to make that distinction, because when I make videos that include like both of us, like a transition video of like me looking the way I do before and then switch to like a Miss Connie video, or the Miss Connie look, the way that people are like, I don't even associate you with her. You guys are two different people in my head. I can't even comprehend that you're the same person. And so like, I think I have the opposite problem. I think people are very eager to be like, this is you, and then this is Miss Connie, and they're separate. Like, so yeah, they're very much two different people to a lot of my audience.
That's perfect. And you're originally from LA. We went to school in New York. You also lived in Chicago doing Second City. How have those three very unique and very different cities influenced your work, especially your comedy?
Oh my God. Well, you know, growing up in LA, I feel like is such a specific experience and such one of those experiences that people wonder about. I feel like everywhere else I've gone, I always get like, oh my God, what's it like living in LA and growing up in LA? And it's like, I mean, it's arguably like growing up anywhere else, but you know, there are definitely some differences that are like, yeah, like I know people that like, grew up on sets and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's weird. I guess that's what, I don't live next to celebrities, which everybody wants to ask, but like, I definitely think it's a different experience. I really loved living in New York. I really miss New York. But I definitely think New York really gave me an opportunity to try something like stand up, which I would have arguably never done in my life. And you know, I met so many amazing people in New York, and so many people outside of like the entertainment industry, which is kind of most of the people that I know in LA are really involved in that world. And so I felt like I really expanded like the different kind of people that I had in my life, and made a lot of amazing friends. And then Chicago, you know, doing comedy studies at Second City was such a like master class of comedy, and just every type of comedy. And I'm somebody who loves comedy, and all I ever want to do is, you know, make people laugh. And so to like really explore every aspect of comedy, and not just, oh, stand up and sketch, but also like writing monologues for late night shows, and clown and abstract, like discovering and exploring every single aspect of comedy really guided me to an understanding of comedy and of my strengths and weaknesses, but also like just the ability to fail. And you can do something and try it, and it might not be your thing, and that's fine. So I feel like all those different places, like LA really set up expectations for myself, I feel like, because, you know, I want to be an actress and I want to be a screenwriter. New York really, I think, expanded my horizons in terms of people that I knew, and like helping me get out of my like LA bubble. And then Chicago definitely really expanded my comedic horizons and helped me kind of understand that it's 100% okay to fail. You're not going to be amazing at everything, but you know, why not try it?
And you also, outside of comedy, are a part-time beauty guru. We see the colorful eyeliner right now. I've seen it in person. I've seen it on our way to going out. What is your like go-to or your 3 go-to makeup products for going out?
Oh my God, easy peasy. So, one, I always use Suva Beauty's Space Panda White Hydro Liner. That's like, I always accent with a white, I always do like a white inner corner. It's like, no matter what the look is going to be, no matter how many colors I'm going to use, I'm almost always going to use that white. So definitely that one. A good thin eyeliner brush as well. You can't use like your normal eyeshadow brush. You can maybe use your finger or whatever, like, but having like a nice, just like really thin hydroliner brush just makes like the application so seamless and makes it feel like you're painting, and it's wonderful. And then probably false lashes. You and me both, we love our false.
I have them on right now.
And you look amazing. But I feel like, fake eyelashes really just like take a look from, oh, that's pretty, to like, wah, 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 like it steps it up. We love a false eyelash moment. And so, yeah, those would be my 3.
And one thing I want to bring up is yesterday I did a questions poll on Instagram to kind of get some feedback from your fans of things they wanted to ask you. And one message that someone named Jesse in particular said was that your content helps them feel comfortable and confident with being non-binary. And so how does that feel to offer such like queer representation that's like very much needed at this moment?
Oh, that feels so wonderful to hear. It's one of those things where, like, I think you and I are so privileged to have grown up in such accepting environments, and especially going to like a place like Sarah Lawrence where it's so accepting of everybody, to the point where everybody is kind of constantly going out of their way to make as many people feel included. And so I think that has somewhat become second nature to me. I mean, I hope, and so making Ms. Connie content, but also making other videos. Like, I do my best to, try to caption everything to make it as accessible to people. And especially with Ms. Connie content, I try to use they, them pronouns as much as possible, because I know these videos are not only going to relate with people who use she, her pronouns, or she, they pronouns, or he, him pronouns, or they, them pronouns. It's going to be, I want it to be as accessible and as inclusive to everybody as possible. And so I think within that, I do use a lot of they, them pronouns. In fact, I think most of the time that's what I'm using, which I to us kind of starts to feel like second nature. But I do have those moments of people that are like, this is the first time I've heard somebody like use my pronouns. And so watching your POVs makes me feel like this. And it's just like, every time I'm like, wow, it's so crazy to me how easy it is to be inclusive and how many people don't do that, and how much of an impact and how wonderful it can feel to have a moment and feel represented and feel seen. So that just makes me feel like warm and fuzzy and good.
When they saw it, I was like, that's just so beautiful. I have to just tell her.
Right. Oh my God.
With queer representation, what do you hope to see in the near future? Because even now, the examples that we have are extremely limited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not only coming from like a TikToker's perspective, but I'm coming from an actor and from a screenwriter. And I definitely think any work that I'm creating, as I like kind of explore my own artistic voice, I'm definitely realizing like there are certain things that I just want to always include in my work if I have the opportunity. And that is going to be things like queer representation. That is going to be things like, I don't want to ever show violence against women. I don't ever want to show violence against queer people. And you could argue that that's like a fantasy world, or like that's not realistic, but I'm coming from a place where I've seen so much violence against people who look like me, people who have the same sexuality as me, people who are in love in the way I want to be in love. And I've seen so much violence against them. And it's just like, is it realistic? Yes. Is it something that I feel like I've seen enough of? Yes. And so I think that moving forward, just creating representation that isn't harmful is so important. To see people happy and in love is so important. And it sets such a standard of like wow, that's what this could be. If you're only ever seeing yourself in a violent setting, getting bullied, like struggling with your sexuality, they're never really truly being a light at the end of the tunnel. And you show that to people who maybe don't have good representation around them, it starts to feel like there's not a happy ending for you. It feels like there isn't a world in which you can be happy because you're this and you're not that. You know what I mean? And so I think personally, and the things that I want to make and what I would encourage, other people to do is to have those moments and let gay people be happy. You know what I mean? Let queer people be happy. Let non-binary people, let trans people be happy. Give them happy storylines that don't revolve just around that one aspect of their identity. And don't kill them for it. Oh my goodness.
And with you also, you studied film in the academic setting. I don't know if people know that, but they're going to know now. And with you studying film, especially with the feminist lens, what is the most iconic like feminist film in your opinion, and why?
There's so many. There's so much good representation out there. And you just kind of gotta find it. You know me, I'm a huge superhero person. I'm a huge, like, I just love that I love an action film. I love a superhero film. And I would argue that Wonder Woman is up there. The first Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, 2017, I believe it came out, in Wonder Woman. Because I am a huge superhero fan. I've seen a million of those movies, and I have a vivid memory that really stuck with me and really kind of affected the way that I view movies and I view my favorite genre of, sitting in a theater and having moments where I was like kind of bracing for an up the skirt shot, or I was ready to, she just set him up to make some misogynistic comment. All right, he's going to say it. It's going to be whatever. The guys are going to laugh and we'll just move past it. And that never happened. It never came. And I realized, like, wow, I have spent so much of my life transposing what I'm seeing on screen to not be offensive to me. Like, constantly changing what I'm seeing or looking away or just kind of accepting misogyny just as part of this genre, just because that's how it's always been. And so to sit and watch Wonder Woman and have none of those moments and have her be such a complex character and have so many sides to her, and she was never just a strong and intense woman and she's badass and she can only be badass by not having emotions, but also having really emotional and touching moments, and also never be sexualized and be strong. And it was just such a moment for me personally, and something that I had never seen before. And so, if you're talking blockbuster feminism, that took the cake for me, truly.
And now getting into some questions from your fans. I did a poll on Insta, like I said earlier. So I got a ton of questions. So I pulled the most frequently used ones, because a lot of them are really similar. But one question a fan asked was, what's your favorite POV that you've made so far, or thus far?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think there was ones that were really fun to do. I did one that was like, you want to have lunch with Miss Connie, that like you ended up using my Switch in, just stuff that was like fun to do. But I used to have really bad anxiety when I was a kid. I had a really, really tough anxiety disorder growing up, especially around the time of like middle school, early high school. And so I did a video that was like Ms. Connie helping you through a panic attack. And that video was like pretty hard to make. That was one of those that, like, I don't normally get emotional making my own videos because, I'm not in my own shoes necessarily. But I never script them. I always improvise them. And so that was one that definitely took a few more takes than usual, just because it was tough. I really felt like I was talking to my like 12-year-old self and just thinking about what did she need? What did she want out of an adult, as opposed to just, go to the nurse or go cry in the bathroom, which was just what I did. And so to have a moment for myself and kind of go back to like my childhood self and kind of have a moment with her and what did she need was really special and cool, and something that I don't know when else I would have ever been able to explore that. But yeah, I'll say that one.
And my next fan question for you is, does Miss Connie have a guilty pleasure?
Does Miss Connie have a guilty pleasure? Ooh, you know what? I feel like on the low when she's at home kicking her feet up in sweatpants, pajamas, whatever, I feel like she just loves some like trashy reality TV. You know? I feel like anything Jersey Shore, The Bachelor, Real Housewives, like just whatever's on, she just probably can just like sink her teeth into for a bit and just like really vibe with it, you know?
And my next fan question for you is, how do you decide like what you're going to use to make a TikTok, and then how do you decide when you're going to post it?
What do you mean, what am I going to use to make a TikTok?
Like the type of content, I'm assuming, because the type of content you'll be creating for TikTok, and then when you post that said content.
I mean, sometimes it starts as like a joke that I think of that I would be like, this would be a fun joke for me to do in a stand-up setting, but I don't have a stand-up setting available to me. So like, how can I transpose it into a 60-second TikTok? So if it's a joke, it's going to be like that. If it's, you know, I'll have moments where I'll just think of something and make the first video, and normally I'll take a draft and then I'll wait until like I look cute and then I'll redo it. But sometimes I'm just like, nah, whatever, I'll just post it. And those are normally the ones that go viral. And I'm like, oh, I have no makeup on in this one. Okay. And then the Miss Connie videos are definitely just premeditated. I think about them beforehand, or I'll see a comment of somebody making a request either on YouTube or TikTok, and I'll kind of go off that and then just improv it for like an hour and then take my favorite take from it.
And my final fan question for you is, when is the Miss Connie sitcom coming out?
You know what? Maybe when I get an agent, maybe when I graduate, when we finally graduate, fingers crossed. Spanish is so hard, but we're getting there. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's something that like, it would be so cool to do anything. You know, you're talking to a 22-year-old actress. I'm like, I'll be an extra on anything. I'll do anything. The idea of having like my own show is like creme de la creme, dream come true type of stuff. So, you know, one day, maybe one day.
All right, so now we're going to play a game. And
okay.
It's the knockout round. And essentially, I'm going to spit out a bunch of questions for you, and you have to answer all of these questions within the time frame it takes to make a TikTok.
Oh, okay, cool. This is, right. I'm not nervous at all.
Set the timer for 1 minute.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Favorite director?
Patty Jenkins.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pineapple.
Favorite influencer?
I don't know.
Favorite skincare product?
Moisturizer and sunscreen.
Favorite fruit?
Pineapple.
Last person you texted?
You, probably.
Favorite makeup artist?
Oh, I don't have one.
Bath or shower?
Oh, shower.
Celeb crush?
Oh, Zendaya.
Favorite superhero?
Spider-Man, 100%.
Ice cream or cake?
Cake.
Favorite cake flavor?
Chocolate or birthday cake. Birthday cake is always good.
It is. Favorite movie genre?
Superhero action genre.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Favorite city you've lived in?
Oh, probably New York.
Favorite thing to do in New York?
Oh, eat pizza.
We got a lot done though. We answered all of them.
Oh my God, that made me sweat, dude. That stressed me out so much.
I was like, I'm either gonna talk so fast I can't enunciate, or talk too slow where I'm kind of out of time.
No, you did great. You did great. I just realized that like I'm not good on the spot.
All right, well, those are our questions for the day. I'm so happy that you were our first guest. You know, I love you, I adore you, and you're the best. So I'm very excited.
I love you. This made me so proud of you. It's like so professional. I feel like I'm so used to when we're on Zoom, like we're wine drunk, you know what I mean? So this is like, we're both being very professional and it feels wonderful.
All right, bye, Bill.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.